Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And thank you guys once again for joining the 9 Innings podcast hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of 9 Innings Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining us. As I always say, subscribe to this channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple Books and Amazon Kindle. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can go to 9innings at 9icapgroup.com. Send us your questions or go to the website, www.9inningscapitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, and engage. And today we're bringing on another exciting individual, CNBC contributor, Ron Insana. We're talking those damn Yankees. We're talking inflation, and we're talking the USD. Here's an interview with Ron Insana. 10 minutes with Ron. Let's get it. All right. We have Ron Insana, CNBC contributor and a friend of the show. Ron, thank you for joining us today, my friend.
Absolutely.
Hey, first and foremost, I'm glad to have you out, but what in the hell happened to our damn Yankees? Let's just start with that real quick. I mean, I tried to watch it. I got tired of people striking out every single time. Like, what in the hell happened to our squad, man?
Well, it was the strikeouts. I mean, and what was even more painful to me was the fact that Yankee fans booed Aaron Judge, who hit 62 home runs in a single season. I mean, it is what it is, right? Everybody can have a bad series, and he had a bad series. But look, I think at the end of the day, this year again came down to pitching.
Yeah,
it wasn't there.
Pitching, defense, and I tried to watch the series. I tried to watch the current series with like Phillies and the Astros.
No.
By the way, I'm not an Astros fan one bit, even though I'm in here in Texas. I just can't stand them, and I'd probably get hate mail from some of my clients. I
wanted to go to the Yankee game and bring a garbage can lid for every time Altuve came up, but we didn't make it. We didn't make it there. So.
But I just can't. Like, for me, I just can't get over the fact that guys refuse to make adjustments. I mean,
right.
Like, it was the 8th inning of the Phillies game against the Astros. The lefty, the center fielder, came up. They had guys on first and third with one out, and you're down by 1 run. Right there, they say, put the ball in play. But he punches out with these huge swings. And I'm like, I just don't understand the game today. I guess I'm too old.
I know. I think next year's going to change because the shift will be gone, and they're going to have to go back to small ball, and they're going to have to play more intelligently. I also think the Yankees at the end of the season didn't have the horses. There were too many guys who were out. Mayhew was out. They didn't really have the performances that they need. I love the kid who came up, Cabrera. Mm-hmm. Looks like he's a future star, but that's a lot of pressure for a kid who started late season, to deliver on a consistent basis. And he did, quite frankly, in the first round. But at the end of the day, they need more consistent pitching, and they need a lineup that makes it through the entire season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, hey, at the we don't want to become a sports show, right? This isn't one of those sports shows. So
I don't mind.
Yeah. Hey, I got a couple questions for you. Great CPI print today. I know the market's trying to rally off the back of that. I don't know why the market wants it so badly. I know they're afraid that the Federal Reserve will over tighten and cause a recession. What are your impressions of today's CPI number and the market expectations?
So, what's interesting is I saw somebody put up some great data. So if you take the last 4 months of CPI annualized, by next year, you're at a 2.7% inflation rate. Bingo. Right. That's the whole thing right there.
Yeah.
Right. So, and there are reasons to believe that we're not going to see much upward pressure on inflation going forward.
Yeah.
So the first relief is the Fed doesn't go 75 basis points or 3/4 of a point in December. They probably go 50. We're starting to hear from Fed officials that it's time to slow down the pace and reduce the size of future increases. Eventually, we're going to hear them say it's time to stop and let the lagged effect of over 4 percentage points of rate increases work through the economy. It's already hit the real estate sector hard. So you know that rents are going to come down. You've already seen housing prices come down. Big component of CPI. Energy's come down. Food will come down if we get a resolution to the war in Ukraine, at least for emerging market nations.
Yeah.
And we'll see, as supply chains continue to improve, which is already happening, inflation will abate and the Fed will have done its job. The real question now is, have they threaded the needle so that it's a soft landing, or have they already done so much that we're getting a recession next year? That's the next critical question for markets.
Well, historically, the Fed has always over tightened, always done more than enough, or more than their fair share. So what's stopping them from doing that exact same thing, right?
Nothing. And we're, again, they raise rates so something breaks. We've seen the cryptocurrency market break meaningfully in the last 48 to 72 hours. Don't know if that represents systemic risk, but the rest of the world's also weak. So there have been times in the past where the Fed's gone so far is that they create problems in other countries that force them to stop raising rates because the strength of the dollar is adversely affecting overseas economies, which we've already seen. Look, I think we're getting nearer the end of this process than we are in the middle of it. And my guess is first 3 months of next year, the Fed will have completed its process. And then you're off to the races is an open question. What really matters is, have they thrown us into a recession? Do corporate earnings estimates have to come down a lot? And is that the final nail in the coffin for the bear market where we get another leg down and then the Fed starts to ease and we rip to the upside and it's a cyclical or secular bull market that starts all over again?
Wow. Well, that'll be good for some of the political parties that are in session right now. I know we had a big event on the 7th with the elections and everything like that. I mean, I know some people may wanted a different outcome and all of that. We won't get into that, but you mentioned the dollar, and this will just be the last question because I know you have things you have to do. I've always have been a proponent of weak dollar. If the dollar, well, not a weak dollar proponent, but as the dollar weakens, the market's going to do better. So you're seeing that right now, the adverse effect. You're seeing the Euro USD almost at parity right now. You saw the pound in the USD almost go under parity, but go back above it. And then now you're seeing the yen and the USD kind of the yen starting to get some strength. So do you believe that the dollar weakness that it should happen if we lower rates, could that be a boon for markets moving forward?
Absolutely. I mean, for a couple of reasons. Number one, you just automatically reprice risk assets based on a weaker dollar and you reprice them higher. Number two, it takes pressure off foreign markets so that you're not exporting inflation into other countries. And number three, obviously it reflects the fact that the Fed's loosening rather than tightening, or at least stopping. And that's more of an all clear signal for risk assets. And you see how much rates drop today on the CPI print, and the dollar will follow rates as it often does. So instead of being up, 17% year to date, we've already pared back a full percentage point and change on the value of the dollar. Now, you don't want that to reverse too fast because that has its own set of problems associated with it. But by the same token, you do want the dollar to ease up for as all the reasons we suggested, so far. And then, it also makes emerging market investments that much more interesting because the dollar weakens. You get more bang for your buck when you're repatriating your profits from overseas markets that might rally in the face of a synchronized global recovery if that were to take place. And so then when the dollar starts falling, you start looking at EM, which is pretty beaten up this year. And again, it's 5 to 10% of somebody's portfolio typically, but that's where you can pick up a little extra vig, if you will. Being the Sicilian that I am, I use that expression quite freely. But that could help juice your returns next year.
Well, hey, thank you. I know you have other things to do, and I appreciate it, man. I wanted to get you on for your quick updates because you're one of the brightest people that I know.
You need to meet some more people. Tells you.
Hey, you're a Yankees fan. You and I both are upset about what happened. I mean, I remember when I was playing, the Yankees were in the playoffs, and I was like, "Oh, this playoff share is going to be nice. This playoff share I'm going to get is going to be nice." And then boom, we're out in round 1, and then boom, the following year we're out in round 2, and I'm like, well, at least it's something. But anyways,
so my concerns now have shifted to Josh Allen's elbow. So that's where I am right now.
You're a Bills fan. I forgot about that. Hey, Bills Mafia, man. They're doing very, very well. They look really, really good. Their defense looks great. I mean,
they got to plug a few holes here, and Josh has to stay healthy.
Yeah, man. But hey, Ron, thank you for joining the 90s podcast.
Thanks,
I appreciate you, my friend. Hey, good luck on your journeys, man, and keep grinding like you always do. And thank you. And again, stay safe.
You also. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you to Ron Insana. We appreciate your time. Thank you for joining the 90s podcast. As you know, we're always here to do what? Educate, empower, and engage. And we brought on Ron Insana for about 7 minutes of just some really hard-hitting facts about the overall economy. I hope you guys enjoyed that. As you know, you can go to our website, www.9inningscapitalgroup.com, to schedule an appointment, or send us an email at 9innings@9icapgroup.com. You can go to our YouTube station and type in 9 Innings Capital Group there, or 9 Innings Podcast, and on. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for being loyal subscribers. Stay humble, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.